If you're watching this, you probably want to know something about Threads, Meta's new text-based Twitter rival. Okay, let's start with the basics. Threads is available on iOS and Android in over 100 countries. Not the EU yet because of privacy concerns, but I'm sure they'll get there soon. So because Threads comes from Meta, does that mean they've got advertising all over it? Well, that's a great question, but the answer is no, not yet at least. Mark Zuckerberg, in one of his opening threads, has said that their focus is on user growth and user retention. Only when they get close to 1 billion users will he and his team consider monetization of the platform. But hold up, hasn't Twitter only got 500 million users? How does Threads, which is a copy of Twitter, then expect to get to 1 billion? Well, Threads does have something unique. You log into Threads using your Instagram credentials. And how many users do you think Instagram has at the moment? Well, you don't need to wonder. It's 2.5 billion. Just a few minutes ago on Threads, I saw a post from a long-term Meta employee saying they've just crossed the 70 million users mark. And it hasn't even been a couple of days yet. It's barely been 48 hours. So how does it differ from Twitter, you might be asking? Well, Threads allows 500 characters per post on the app at the moment. You can put images, you can add videos and GIFs. One tip if you're adding a video though, the audio doesn't automatically play. So when you upload a video to your thread, and I've got to probably stop doing that at some point, when you upload a video to your thread, you've got to unmute the sound on your video first before you post it. Some of you may be used to using Twitter on TweetDeck or something similar on your desktop or your laptop. Well, that functionality isn't available to Threads yet. You can view thread posts and profiles on the web, but you can't actually post through them yet. So you can only post if you've got an iOS or an Android app. One of the other big questions being asked is, what if your Instagram profile is private and you want to use Threads publicly? Can you? Well, the answer is yes. You can set your Instagram profile to private, but you can also use your linked Threads account publicly. Bear in mind that your username across both platforms will be the same though. The other difference from Twitter at the moment is that Threads asks for a lot of access to personal information. It's not quite clear what they intend to do with all that information or whether they're collecting it at all, but the terms and conditions require you to give them access to it. Again, this is probably a reason why they haven't launched in the EU, which has much more stringent privacy controls. But I'm sure there'll be more commentary in the days to come. For any long-time Twitter users out there, DMs are currently missing on Threads, although I'm sure they're going to come. People are starting to use hashtags, but the hashtags aren't clickable. So you can't click on a hashtag and look at the theme of people using those hashtags. I think people are just following them over from Twitter and expecting Threads to introduce that functionality soon. We don't yet know if that will be added into that feature set yet. Another thing, Threads haven't quite got to being able to let you edit any posts yet. So be careful when you're posting something, as you can delete it but not edit. After having played around with it for a bit, my view is it's still a work in progress. I'm somewhat concerned about the privacy issues, but it's quite nice to be playing around with something that has a look and feel of Instagram with a bit of Twitter of old, which was a much more natural place than the chaos that Twitter seems to be now, and all the new things that they've added over the last year or so. But it also has that Instagram vibe to it, which is of course to be expected. One final point to consider, which a lot of people have been asking as well, is if you play with Threads and then decide to delete your account, well, currently the only way to do that is to delete your Instagram account at the same time. I'm sure this is probably just an early thing and they'll fix it later, or it's a way to keep you on Threads once you've opened your account. But either way, given the networking effect, I think Threads is definitely here to stay. There's talk of a lawsuit looming from Twitter, but I'm not sure that will have any legs. I think they'll just have to fight it out over that cage match they've been talking about. I hope that was helpful. If it was, smash that like button and subscribe for more. See you on the next one.